they get the statewide recognition as opposed to just the school-wide recognition. I think we've had 3, but don't quote me on that.
Okay, Grace.
E. Schmidt and Devin Davey for sure, and I think there was one more.
So Grace, when you found out that you were receiving this award, how'd you feel?
I felt honored to be receiving this award because, like Mr. Handel said, like looking at Devin Davey, knowing that he's going to like a really good school, it's kind of cool. Like that I was kind of at the same level as him, and knowing him was kind of cool that I could be at the same level.
Nice. Trey?
It was super rewarding. I mean, after a lot of hours of studying and practicing, it really paid off. So I'm really glad I got it, and kind of reflected on my whole career. So it's really nice.
Were you guys surprised?
Yeah, go ahead.
Not necessarily, because I mean, I see really amazing athletes that are really good at certain sports, but not as great in the classroom, and vice versa. So I mean, I think I have a pretty good balance of both. So I mean, I wasn't extremely surprised, but honestly, I can't find anyone else that really has a perfect balance, kind of like what I've seen out of Grace and I.
Hey, Trey, and then we'll go to Grace. Give us your like sports GPA, post high school goals, anything, talk about anything that sets you apart. This isn't a job interview, but talk. We'll start with Trey.
So my GPA was about 3.8 unweighted. I've taken numerous amount of AP classes and some gateway classes, so that helped me a lot for academically. So I mean, that's setting me up for my future careers, which is my main goal. Athletically, I was in basketball, soccer, and track and field. I lettered in all 3 sports 3 times each. So since sophomore year, I've been on varsity for all 3. I've been in numerous sectional events, regionals, won many regional titles in soccer. State, I went to state and track my sophomore year. We didn't go last year for track, but we had a better time, so I'm not even mad about it for our events. Basketball, solid. I mean, lettered all 3 years. Not the greatest seasons, but I mean, really fun working with everybody. Successful. We all improved. I mean, that's all that really matters to me. So
yeah, awesome. Anna, youth apprenticeship at Open Arms.
Correct.
And you're going to be a nickname?
Golden Eagle.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Go Marquette.
Yeah.
Love it.
Going to Marquette in a biomedical sciences degree major. And then after that, I'm going to dental school for 3 years, or for 4 years, undergrad for 3 years.
Coach Handel, what do you think? Did you reach out to Colton Loomis for some tutelage and guidance?
No, but we will. I'm sure you probably met him.
Yeah, I actually went on he was the one that gave me my tour. Yeah, I know Colton pretty well. He was pretty cool. He gave me a tour of the dental school. Really nice guy. Love him.
Yeah. All right, Grace, it's your best for last.
Yeah, of course. So
Yeah.
I also had a 3.8 GPA, and I was on varsity for cross country all 4 years, same with soccer. And then I was also on varsity for basketball for 2 years. And with basketball, we won the regional championship this year, which was pretty awesome. And then for cross country and soccer, I've been awarded the all conference multiple years in a row. And then next year, I'm going to Minnesota to study business, just the generic.
And risk management, right?
Risk management.
All right. Awesome. So you're going to be a gopher.
Yep.
All right. Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
So I have a question for both of you. I want you both to respond to this. So I'm a 8th grader. I'm going to be a freshman. I'm an athlete. I'm a pretty good student. What would you tell that incoming freshman as far as being a student athlete and classes? Like, what do I need to do if I go, hey, I want to achieve stuff, and that scholar athlete thing is in my sights? I've seen Grace, I've seen Trey. How do I get there?
Well, I think club sports do help with it, but also like managing your time is a big part of it. Like taking those harder classes will like help you in your future for college, but also like staying focused on like the sports that you want to be in. And I feel like being a 3-sport athlete is really beneficial for people to like try new things and get to know more people throughout the sports.
Yeah, I think setting big goals for yourself right away helps a lot because you have something to work towards and it's really motivating academically and athletically. I mean, if it's winning state and you only end up winning a regional championship, that's still something to work towards every single year. So setting big goals right away and actually trying to work towards them is really beneficial, I think.
What did you learn along the way? Highs and lows.
Like failure is good. I mean, you need it. It's a reality check, and then sets you kind of like puts you, shows you where you should be and where you're at and what to improve on. So I mean, helps you in every way, really. I mean, you don't lose anything from losing besides whatever, but come back the next year, get better, stronger. Hopefully, when you get better goal or achieve those goals. So.
Did either of you take AP Econ?
I did.
I couldn't with the apprenticeship. I would have though.
Grace, tell me about AP Econ.
Supply and demand like this. Come on, guys. It's pretty enjoyable.
How does Grace Woyak?
She's the best. These kids are both.
How does she rank?
How does she rank all time in AP Econ? In the Woyak family or in the overall?
Let's go with the Woyak
Number
family.
one in the well. Deuce is good. I mean,
Was she a better AP Econ student than Mason and Sam Stebnitz?
Probably not.
she'd be right there with those two. Yeah. I mean, I would.
All right,
I think I would put her first or second. So I let me see the test scores first.
Just so you know, Trey, Grace, that was a question we had with a bunch of alumni
I think that
on who was a better AP student,
Stebnitz.
Econ student. So no offense, Trey. You were unique by doing a youth apprenticeship. So
well, I think when people question, like good and evil of high school kids, and you can have conversations like adults with these kids. They were both smart enough to realize and take as much as they possibly could out of the experience here at the high school. So these are, among the best of the best, but I think their parents did a really good job of instilling the right values in these guys, because there was never a question with either one of these two, like a lot of our kids, that they were going to always do the right thing in situations, which is really, really pretty cool. So I think they both may not realize it yet, but they probably will figure it out at scholarship night that there's way more money in academics than there ever has been in athletics. So I think that they're anticipating that happening here in the next couple of weeks. So a lot of really cool things. I hope they'll stay connected to the school because they're, lifelong Elk kids, and which is all pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I think we've done a good job of is bringing them, bringing kids back and engaging the alumni network.
Trey, Grace, you got a lot to be proud of. Our school district and community have a lot to be proud of you. What are you most excited about and also like nervous about either concluding your high school career? Like, what are you most excited about? And then what kind of will you miss the most maybe of your high school experience?
What I'll miss is how supportive everyone was, like all the staff. We have a really good staff. So, I mean, going into college, obviously there's going to be a way bigger student to teacher ratio. So it's going to be harder to get a little more attention from those teachers and professors and whatnot. So, I mean, I really appreciate all the staff and how like individualized it is to every single student. I think that's really good from Elkhorn. So I'll miss that. What I'm excited for is taking those harder classes. I'm trying to expand upon my knowledge. So, I mean, it's something I look forward to. So,
Grace, what about you?
One thing I'll miss from Elkhorn is definitely like being here, like since it's so small compared to like other high schools, like most of the people here, and it's kind of good to know them on a different level, I feel like. So I'll miss that. And one thing I'm excited for is definitely graduating, but I'll definitely be sad, like, because I'm not playing sports next year, so it kind of suck.
What are some?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. What are some takeaways if you were speaking to the student body as far as like, here's some things that help me stay on track academically and athletically, like whether that's organization or whatever it is, what were some things you'd pass on to somebody?
I'd probably just tell them to kind of know your limits and don't push yourself too much, but always keep yourself working as hard as you can. Like, don't exhaust your body if you don't need to, but always try your best. I mean, academically, you don't want to exhaust your brain because it's not beneficial in the long run if you just stay up 10 hours studying versus a couple hours every day or even less. Just like don't overdo it, but keep up that good pace. So just kind of know your balance between academics and athletics. Know how much practice is good and how much is not good. So, yeah.
I would say like finding the correct like study habits to have because that'll help you in the future. And also, I agree with Tate or Trey not having like too much like work on the balance is good too.
Is
Coach Shannon,
organizing your day a challenge, being a high-level student and a high-level athlete?
What was the question?
Is organizing your day difficult, or is there different things you do to organize your day? Because you're, let's say, on a bus at a game, I got to get this homework done.
You guys aren't real stressed out, kids.
No, I mean, I usually I try to think about my day before the day even happens. So I kind of project it, get ready for everything. I know it's coming, so I'm not spooked by anything. So usually I do that like the night before, just kind of think about what's going on tomorrow. If I need to get something done I don't have a lot of time for, I'll try. But I mean, if I don't have enough time, I try to do whatever I can, I guess. But just trying to think about the day ahead. So.
Yeah.
Coach Handel, we've started this is what, the second year we've done the WIAA Scholar Athlete. So if you were to draw a lot, like if really kind of thread the needle on this one, you touched base about the value system and really gave a compliment to Trey and Grace's parents. But looking at, you've been around Elkhorn for a while. When you look at these two and what are some common themes? Like if you were telling a group of parents, like, these are the athletes that really excel as student athletes. What are some of the common characteristics? And then I'd kind of like to hear from Trey and Grace on what do they think those key characteristics are of a successful student athlete?
Well, I thought of three things when you asked, without having prepped for this.
That's the best part.
They have really good work ethics. They have really good values. They're both really coachable, but you can see that they both, in situations like I want to learn this, like sticks out a lot. Like they're willing to take on like some coaching without getting super critical. I've never heard either one of these two, never heard their parents ever say a negative word about a coach. Never. And I think that there is some things to learn from all those things because these two are both raised that, figure it out for yourself. We're here to help you, but don't make a lot of excuses and just, put your nose to the grindstone and work hard. And these two are, obviously two of the harder working kids that we have. And I don't, like when you were asking that question a second ago, Chris, like, I don't think of either one of these two as super stressed. I think of them as just like they know what they need to do and they'll do it. We do those AP boosts and, we've had some, Grace, she's here most of the time. I know Trey was for his classes too. Like those are things that you want to see above and beyond, which shows that they have that pretty healthy work-life balance. And, they can laugh at themselves and they both are, pretty humble.
Trey, Grace, you guys have competed at a high, a very high level, and high school varsity athletes in three sports. What do you, when you look at, student athletes, what do you think the key ingredients are to being a really high performer high school athlete, student athlete?
I'd say the biggest one is to be coachable because like sometimes on a team like you'll see people not being coachable and it kind of hurts like the team in general. So I'd say be coachable and work hard. Like don't get down on yourself when like something bad happens. Just keep pushing.
Coachable, resiliency. I love it. Trey, what are your thoughts?
I think I think every student athlete should want to have criticism because, at the end of the day, it's going to help you in the long run. If you're taking that criticism and you're doing what the coach says and the team's still not progressing, you can't do much more than that, and that's all you can really do if that's all you're asked. That and I'd say being able to teach as a student athlete too. If you can teach something, if you can teach a skill, that means you can probably excel at that skill very well. So I think that's really important. I tutor students, and I've gotten so much better at the subject by tutoring it and teaching it over and over and over. That's the same thing for sports too. So Yeah.
That's great. That's great. All right, we're getting to that point. I think this is a really, before we hand it off, we're going to hand it off to Trey Grace and Coach Handel for thank yous and shout outs. This is how we close the #1 podcast in Walworth County, the Noon Whistle. I'm going to thank Coach Handel for all your hard work as an athletic director, but also want to thank Trey Grace for being models for our community, for our school. It's not about the name on the back, it's about the name on the front, and you guys embraced that and modeled that, and we appreciate everything you've done, and we're going to be excited to follow you moving forward, so thank you. But at that point, give us a thank you. Coach Handel, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Grace and Trey. Who do you want to thank here on the Noon
Well, I
Whistle?
want to thank all the people that are helping out with athletic events, especially in the spring, because it's hard this time of year to get a lot of people to help. So I'm appreciative of them. And we also had 4 kids that put themselves out there to join a new group that the WIAA is running, which is like a leadership council for the state level. So we have 4 different kids that have applied for that, freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. And so hopefully in the next week or so here, we'll have a kid from Elkhorn that's named to this group, and then we'll have another podcast to do.
That's great. That's awesome. Grace, who do you want to thank or give a shout out to?
I like to thank my parents because they've taught me everything I know, and they brought me to multiple different practices when I was younger. So, and then I'd also like to thank my coaches for everything that they've taught me in sports as well.
Awesome. Trey?
I'd also like to thank my parents for being my biggest supporters, buying me a lot of things, taking me everywhere, and being super loving. So that, and then my coaches too, and all the Elkhorn staff for being super eager to improve and make the environment a lot better. So.
All right. Awesome. Mr. Anzalone, anything else before we head back to work?
My last words are thanks to all of you for being on and taking some time today, and good luck to your next ventures and all you do.
Absolutely. And to all our loyal viewers, I don't know if everybody noticed this, but I was a step slow on the trigger to go live. That was just because I was super engaged in the conversation before, which sometimes are the best conversations we have. So thank you, everybody. Thanks, Coach Handel, Trey and Grace. Have a great, last week of school?
About,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. And on that note,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.